What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Mind Hiking Podcast. I'm your host, Brody Frye, and today we got a regular episode for you. And I feel like I have to say that because back to some of my other episodes, I realized that I say almost all of my episodes are special, so this one's just going to be a regular one. So, stay tuned. Hey everyone, it's Brody Frye, and here we dive deep into difficult questions. We'll map out thoughts, theories, and crazy ideas for the love of knowledge and growth. So, how do we answer some of the mind's toughest questions? This is the Mind Hiking Podcast. Welcome back, everyone. So, I feel like I talk a lot on the podcast about struggle, and especially my personal struggles, and I, even on some of the episodes that I sit down with people, I ask a lot of those type of questions as well. And I feel like there's a lot of value in asking somebody for their experiences and hearing it from them, and even if it's me sitting here talking about my struggles or past hardships and stuff like that, there's still, even just for me to, like, whether or not any of you out there get value out of these bonus episodes or some of these deep, heavier topics, even me personally, just being able to go back and listen and hear myself talk, and it makes me more able to kind of visualize, I guess, where I am at, so I can kind of think through my own problems a little easier, just like hearing myself speak too. So that's like another nice thing about the podcast here. And one thing I want to kind of point out too is just, I feel like a lot of like the self-help genre of books and audio and YouTube videos and stuff like that are all of people talking about the past, which is pretty much a given, pretty obvious, but it's not common that you get somebody talking about their struggles in the moment without being annoying, because you get these people that are like, that you get frustrated with or annoyed, that just like, it's one thing to like hear your friend out and stuff like that, and be there and be supportive, or a family member, obviously, but it's difficult. There's a fine line there between like being there for somebody and then like somebody being annoying with just complaining about whatever it is they're going through. So it's just a funny thing, but it's one thing that I think is unique about this podcast, and I've said it before, that I'm not where I want to be, and though I have changed and grown a lot, I find it really cool just being able to like see like kind of the place that I was when I started this podcast, and like now I'm starting to see some development, which is cool, and just being in this spot that I'm at, being able to talk from a like here and now perspective. And I feel like a lot of, like of this genre, like kind of self-help type stuff, is, almost talking down on you, like, been there, done that, it's easy, this is what you do kind of thing. But yeah, I think it's just unique to be able to sit here and not be where I want to be, and talk about my thoughts and opinions and freely, and just be able to listen back to it. It's really cool. So one of the biggest things that I try to do is just soak all this up. like all, and I'm not talking about the podcast, but like me sitting here, like here and now, soaking up my thoughts. Because you can, it's not always about like the thoughts you think and letting them go. There still is your ability to sit there and like soak it in, like just know it's there, soak it in and understand it, and not really pick it apart or try to like, not like dissecting it, not like overthinking it, but just like sitting with it, like it's another person sitting next to you on a park bench kind of thing. It's just finding comfort in the ability to sit in the struggle. That's kind of like the one of the bigger things that I tell myself is I know my struggles aren't going to last forever, and whatever's happening is going to pass. And that's both ways, whether it be good or bad. And just like previous episodes we've talked about roller coasters, like the roller coaster lifestyle, and how that's the lifestyle that I want. I never wanted that mundane, boring, monotone picket fence life. I want the extreme highs and the extreme lows. I want it all. And that's the extreme lows are part of that roller coaster. So I try to like almost look at myself, sit in these situations where I'm not in the right place that I want to be, and just sit with myself and just take in, just like observe my own feelings floating around in my head. Just like whatever arises in my head, just look at it and just observe it like a cloud passing by. And just like watch it and just be like, you ever go like people watching and just like see what people do as they pass by, like just like human beings in their natural habitat. It's just like interesting to just look at other people and like think about what's going on in their lives, and you can almost see like thought bubbles. Like you can almost see each and every one of them like thinking for themselves. It's just funny. And but just letting those thoughts pass by, just if you're sitting with yourself and just soaking in the emotions and the feelings and just watching these thoughts go by like it's a movie in your head kind of thing. But I know these struggles won't last, and everything will pass, and even in like the really good moments like that I want to last longer, like we're a lot of times we're not present, like not fully present with ourselves. And I try to like really sit with myself and become present, just become part of the here and now, because you can really focus your mind if you sit and give it a shot. There's a big difference between going about your day like you do versus, and it's so easy to do that too, because we do these days day in and day out all the time, and it's easy to zone out even for weeks on end. But to be able to bring your focus back to the here and now and really observe what it is you're doing, it's like that's like a unique human trait. Like it's really cool. You don't see animals like being able to do that. There's so many traits that make humans unique, like even humor. You never see an animal, like you don't see your dog like laughing at you if you trip or something like that. It's just like what even is, like from a survival standpoint, what is humor? Like why is that even a thing? It's interesting. I think it's like a cultural like trait or emotion that helps us bond, because I think we're here for the connection and the memories and the growth. So it's just human beings are just beautiful, beautiful, amazing creatures, and it's just amazing to be one and just observe how the mind works and what happens in your head. Like I really enjoy like just sitting in silence and just watching thoughts go by. It's especially if something's not going my way or if I'm going through a lot, like just to walk outside and sit down and just feel the wind and listen to the birds and just like I'm not just getting into nature too, but it's I don't know. Like I've always been okay with silence. I've always been okay with I know a lot of people have like a large fear of silence and can't be alone, like damn near panic attacks if they sit in silence for too long, or like super fidgety. I'm super fidgety. It's like huge ADHD. Like I can't sleep without tapping my like I tap my foot. Like I remember I think I've mentioned this before, but when I was like really little, like 4 or 5 years old, and I used to like if I had nightmares or something, go sleep in my parents' bed with them, and I remember my dad would kick me out of the bed because I would tap my foot or roll over or like just flippy flop too much, and they can't sleep. So I would either have to go on the floor or back to my room. And then another story too, I believe that I've said before about one of our old babysitters that had to call my parents because they thought that I was having like seizures or something. But I would repeatedly like face down bang my head into the pillow until I wore myself out enough to fall asleep. Like I would just smash my head over and over, like bang, 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 bang my face in like forehead right into the pillow over and over just to fall asleep. But for whatever reason, it was never like, I don't know, maybe it was my thoughts that kept me up, but I'm comfortable sitting with them as well. So it's not like a get these things out of my head, I need to sleep kind of thing. And sometimes it is. And again, part of being human is that our minds are amazing and we'll never understand them. They're beautiful. And yeah, there's so much to unpack there. You know, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like that, especially in stressful situations, but I find it relatively easy to become present again and really sit with my thoughts, and sometimes too much as well, because like sometimes I struggle with vocalizing or speaking my mind or my thoughts, which is kind of ironic with this podcast, and a lot of listeners might find that hard to believe, but just like they might find it hard to believe me being an introvert, for sure. I definitely get super overwhelmed easily with large public spaces like concerts and stuff. Like definitely not my favorite place to go. Definitely like takes a lot out of me, takes energy out of me to go to public places or concerts or games or things like that with a lot of people, stadiums and stuff. Like I recharge when I'm either with super close-knit friends and family or alone. And I know a lot of people are the opposite, where like if they're studying or doing something or sitting at home or like cooped up and like just can't. I know people that's draining for them, and they need to get out and go see people. They need to go to the bar, or go, dancing, or go to a concert or something like with a lot of people, and that's how they recharge. And that's just another thing. It's just crazy how unique us humans are. We're such beautiful, amazing creatures. It's like, and just how we develop too, like, and how we learn to be human. And like, we teach our babies how to be human, but here we are not knowing how to be human. It's just this whole life thing is just so funny to me, and just like what we are and how we're plopped into these things, these bags of skin with a bunch of thoughts floating through, like a bunch of like sky heads with thought clouds floating through. Yeah, I don't know. It's a wild life, but the struggle, it's definitely a real thing, and everybody's got their own. And just to, yeah, this is just some of the thoughts that just flow through my head. Just being in a spot where I don't want to be, just trying to sit in it. Just take it in. That's the best advice I can give for somebody who's in a rough spot. And that's what I'm doing. That helps me get through it. But like I said, I never had a problem with sitting in silence for extended periods of time. I always found my own thoughts fascinating, so it can it's entertaining enough. And usually what I'm trying to do is think through a problem or figure something out. So yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna keep this episode rolling though. I don't want to have any clips in this one, so sorry for the long pauses in this one again, but and the rambling sidetracks and then coming back to something I've already talked about. But basically what I wanted to wrap this episode around was just being in the moment of struggle, and just the expression of it in me here and now, talking through it, because I don't feel like you see that very often. So I think it's definitely unique for this podcast. And man, again, like I've said before, I'm being vulnerable and putting myself out there. And I couldn't ask for a better audience. You guys are awesome, because I only ever hear good, positive things from you guys, and it's awesome, especially at the rate this podcast is growing. It's where my numbers are at. I'm over, I'm in the top 50% of podcasts in the world. It's freaking so cool to me. So, and it's not really hard to get there, because there's a lot of like people that just kind of start up episodes and have a few, like it's in the stats are including every podcast, so it's not that difficult to get in the top 50%, but it's still cool to be able to say that. And then there's a monstrous stair step going up to the top 20%. So we'll see. Got a lot of work to do, but we'll get there. I love doing this, and I'm grateful for you guys listening and enjoying this as well. If you're struggling, if you're going through something, just sit with it, because it's not going to last forever. You'll get through it. And even if it's a couple of years, I've had before issues that take years, and I feel like it'll never be resolved. And then next thing you know, it's over. And a lot of times it like fades over where you don't even realize it, and it's already done. And then you look back and you're like, oh shit, I forgot that I was worrying so much about that, and it's already over, kind of thing. But that's another example of typical advice. It's like, looking back, it's easy for me to sit here and say, blah, 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 which is why I'm trying to talk in the here and now, where I'm not where I want to be, and there are struggles, and that is okay, because everything is going to work out. Everything's going to be okay, and it's not going to last forever. We'll get where we want to go, all of us, and we're all in this together. We're all one big team, one big family of humanity, and we'll get through it together. There's a lot more people on our side than what we think, so we got each other's backs. I got your guys' backs. I know you guys got my back, so thank you so much. I'm so grateful for you guys, and hopefully this wasn't too rambly or not, but just wanted to get some in the moment words out there on the podcast. So hopefully you guys stayed till the end, and if you did, I appreciate you and thank you. And I hope you have a great rest of your day. Thanks for tuning in, guys.